Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a supernatural horror film, The Haunting of HELENA. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The first scenes of the film show a hallway of an old house. On the floor are blood and teeth, as well as a bucket, a mop, and a pair of pliers. The trail of blood leads to a large closet with a figure of a woman carved on the door. The scene shifts to a university professor named Sophia, who is presenting a lecture on mosquitoes and the spread of malaria in Italy during Mussolini's fascist regime. We soon learn that Sophia is divorced from her husband and moving into an old apartment with her daughter, HELENA. One day, her ex-husband calls Sophia from Cancun to ask how things are going. They still remain on good terms despite their past. He asks to hand the phone to his daughter, but HELENA is not in the mood to talk. He takes the opportunity to show off the diamond implant on his tooth before hanging up the phone. Sophia enters the basement and discovers an abandoned closet wrapped in plastic and rags. In the process, HELENA asks if she can take it to her room, and Sophia allows it, although she doesn't understand what she found so interesting about it. Their new neighbor watches them through the peephole and is shocked when he sees the closet. The next morning when HELENA wakes up, she informs her mother that her tooth is loose. Then, as they walk down the stairs, their neighbor looks at them in curiosity. In the car, Sophia tells HELENA to put the tooth under her pillow so that the tooth fairy can replace it with a present. For some reason, HELENA asks if the tooth fairy is scary or not. Sophia tries to answer her, but she is also distracted by a glitch in her car's GPS system and eventually hits an oncoming truck. The car is pushed off the bridge. However, before it falls into the water, Sophia notices a pale little girl sitting in the backseat. After the accident, Sophia wakes up in a hospital bed. Fortunately, both the mother and daughter survived. When HELENA sees her mother, she tells her that she lost her tooth during the accident and angrily asks to find it. Sophia tries to explain that this is not possible, but HELENA won't even listen to her. A few days later, while they are at the park, HELENA rushes to her mother, telling her that another tooth has come loose. Sophia is about to examine the tooth when HELENA's torn mouth startles her, but everything is back to normal in an instant. Sophia wraps the tooth in a handkerchief and suggests she put it under her pillow. That night, a bizarre figure appears in HELENA's room, moving under the covers. HELENA suddenly wakes up and sees her mother beside her. HELENA lifts the pillow and discovers that the tooth is gone. Sophia says the tooth fairy has arrived and will leave a coin in the morning. The next morning, HELENA thanks her mother for the coin, knowing that it was her mother who put it under the pillow. In addition, HELENA reveals that she is drawing the tooth fairy because she also gave her an old coin. Later, while laying out clothes, Sophia finds scratch marks on the closet door. Soon after, she receives a phone call from HELENA's teacher asking her to stop by her office. Sophia then goes to the teacher, who informs her that HELENA bought her friend's fallen teeth using old coins. In the car, Sophia asks HELENA where she got the coins and what she plans to do with those teeth. HELENA simply says that the teeth are for the tooth fairy. Furthermore, HELENA reveals that the tooth fairy is angry with her teacher and wants her teeth back. Sophia is worried about her daughter's strange behavior and goes to a doctor for help. She tells him that it all started when HELENA lost her first tooth and now believes the tooth fairy lives in her closet. The doctor assures her that HELENA's condition may not be as terrible as she thinks, but he still promises to show HELENA's drawing to his colleagues. Lately, he asks if HELENA or anyone else in the family has ever hallucinated, and she says no. One day, as Sophia comes down the stairs, the neighbor stops her and advises her to leave the house as soon as possible, otherwise he will no longer be able to help her. Sophia disregards his warning and claims that she doesn't need anyone's help. One evening, after HELENA's babysitter has fallen asleep, she returns to her room and whispers to someone inside the closet that she can now leave. In the process, HELENA's teacher gets into bed and discovers a swarm of flies under her blanket attacking her. The next morning, HELENA refuses to go to school, saying that her teacher is dead. Shortly thereafter, Sophia receives news by phone that the teacher is indeed dead. Shocked, Sophia looks at HELENA and she reveals that it was the closet fairy. A few days later, while Sophia and HELENA are in the park, the doctor reveals that he has shown HELENA's drawings to a psychologist and advises her to visit him. In the process, Sophia notices HELENA trying to pull out a tooth with her hand. Sophia calls her repeatedly, and when HELENA turns around, she reveals her hand stained with blood while covering her mouth. After this scene, Sophia decides to take a day off and relax at the beach. At one point, she notices a familiar little girl playing nearby, but before Sophia can approach her, the little girl runs away. She notices a grave nearby and discovers 4 photographs of children. According to the inscription, they were killed by wolves in 1940. Later, Sophia goes to the psychologist to examine her daughter's situation. He informs her that children are easily influenced by the recommendations of others, but what concerns him most is her home address. The psychologist reveals that many years ago, a tragedy happened in that same house. It's revealed that an army officer caught his flirty wife smiling at another muscular man, so he punished his wife by pulling out all her teeth one by one. Finally, he locked her in the closet and left her to die. Now, thinking that the neighbor knows something about it, Sophia knocks on his door, but no one answers. Nevertheless, the door opens on its own shortly afterward, and she investigates the house with the light of her cell phone. When she enters one of the rooms, she notices some old coins that Helena had received from the Tooth Fairy. She also finds a wall papered with newspaper headlines about the time when Mussolini was head of the fascist party, the victims of the wolf attack, and the recent death of Helena's professor. But what catches her attention are photos of a man, a woman, and a little girl. The articles talk about how the wife was brutally murdered by her husband after the death of their daughter. Suddenly, the neighbor appears out of nowhere, and Sophia leaves without saying anything. She returns home and locks the closet door with the huge piano. That night, Sophia sleeps with Helena in her room, but a sudden noise from the closet wakes Sophia. She leaves her daughter in bed and goes to her room to check what is going on. She finds the piano in the hallway, blocking the main entrance, and is startled. Sophia immediately goes to wake Helena to escape from this place. Helena easily passes through the narrow opening, but Sophia is trapped as the toothless ghost slowly emerges from Helena's room. Sophia shouts to her daughter to escape, but Helena reaches out to give the ghost a small box containing some smelly teeth. Sophia grabs the small box and throws it, scattering the teeth on the floor. The ghost rushes to pick them up and puts them in her mouth. We can deduce that the ghost is indeed the wife of the army officer who pulled out all her teeth and left her dead. Now she has returned to get them back and manipulates Helena to achieve her goal. Subsequently, Sophia and Helena escape the haunting house. 18 months later, we see them in a mental institution. The ex-husband visits Helena in the hospital with the intention of taking her to Mexico with him, but Sophia will not let him. Later, Sophia is summoned to the doctor's office, who asks her why she did not tell him that her mother was schizophrenic and had committed suicide in a mental hospital. Sophia says she doesn't want her past to affect Helena's life in any way. When the doctor asks her if she has any mental illness, the nurse arrives with Helena, asking her to take a walk outside. One day during her class, a picture of the toothless ghost and her family emerges from nowhere in her PowerPoint. She asks her maid if someone has tampered with her slideshow, but he says he has not changed anything. One night, Helena finally speaks after a long silence, but only says that the ghost has returned. She claims that the ghost is angry with her because the smelly teeth she gave her were not hers. Now the ghost has returned to take back her own teeth that are hidden somewhere. The next day, the nurse delivers the food to Helena and allows her to eat it herself. In the process, Helena notices a ghostly little girl in the mirror who shifts her gaze to the ceiling. Helena looks up and suddenly teeth begin to fall and cover the floor. Helena takes shelter under the table, where she eventually falls unconscious. When Helena wakes up, she tells her mother about the little girl in the mirror. Sophia goes to look at the mirror and finds the ghost standing by Helena's bed, staring at her. Terrified, Sophie goes to the church and is approached by her ex-husband, to whom she reveals the terrible murder that took place in her old apartment. Sophia also says that a ghost follows them and drives them mad. Leaving the hospital that night, the ex-husband notices a little girl and chases after her, not realizing that he has been lured into Sophia's old apartment. He finds himself in front of the closet and tries to open it, but fails. Suddenly, he's attacked by a swarm of insects and dies. Meanwhile, Sophia loses her patience and talks to the ghost loudly, trying to chase it away. At that moment, the cabinet door distorts, and, for a brief moment, the woman on the cabinet appears to flex her ghostly figure. When the nurse goes inside to check the situation, everything returns to normal. Sophia then opens the cabinet and discovers teeth inside, one of which has a diamond implant, noting that these are indeed her ex-husband's teeth. Soon after, the room is sealed and the police begin to investigate. After a few days, Sophia notices a peculiar man by the window of the psychiatric ward building, but she is not the only one who notices him. Another patient also keeps looking at him, confirming that these are not hallucinations. Sophia begins to investigate the army officer who killed his wife, and she discovers that he was locked up in the same hospital. So she sneaks into the file room and retrieves his file, along with pictures of his wife and daughter, as well as some sketches and writings. She finds a room inside, where the ceiling begins to be covered with blood. She immediately returns to the hospital and takes refuge in the prayer room. But soon, she realizes that one of the decorative objects contains hidden teeth. Her neighbor suddenly appears and attacks her. He tells her that wolves do not eat children, and then Sophia hits him with the same ornament and rushes to her apartment. When she arrives, she discovers her ex-husband's burned and toothless body inside the closet. Then, Sophia pours out the teeth inside the closet and asks the ghost to leave her daughter alone. As she leaves the building, the ghost appears at the window. The next day, Helena's condition greatly improves, and she's ready to leave the hospital. She returns the doll back to the patient who lent it to her, and says the ghost is gone. The next day, at the university, Sophia's aide informs her that he has found an old tape that she should watch. The tape reveals the truth that the army officer's wife was a cannibal who fed on children, so her husband pulled out her teeth and locked her in the closet to stop her. The wife even fed on her own child. That is why the news about wolves eating 4 children is false. In fact, the predator was actually the officer's cannibal wife. During the video, we see Sophia's neighbor as a young kid, witnessing the horrors of the cannibal woman. All this time, he has been trying to warn Sophia of the danger, but she has ignored him. Sophia immediately runs to the hospital, but her neighbor suddenly falls out of a window. He has a big bite on his cheek. On his last breath, he reveals that the ghost has teeth again and will kill more and more people. Sophia runs upstairs, only to discover that the doctor has also been killed by the ghost. Sophia reaches her daughter's room, but stands motionless and starts screaming in a chicken voice. In the next scene, we learn that Sophia is institutionalized in the same psychiatric hospital. She is on the bench, while Helena looks at her saddened mother by the window. The last scene of the film shows Helena's injured face, confirming that she was killed by the ghost and is now a ghost herself. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.